Today, I would like to talk about all of the changes I have noticed since starting HRT, since starting estrogen, which was about, I have no fucking idea, honestly. It's gotta be at least 7 months, maybe 8, but I don't want to think about that. That's too crazy. That's too fucking long. But yeah, this is not scripted. This is a completely personal little video journal. So, because yeah, I mean, it's been a really beautiful and also incredibly scary experience. And I went into it with a lot of fear, a lot of apprehension, a lot of hopefulness, just a lot of emotions in general. And I want to offer a little perspective for anyone who's starting out. And of course, his body reacts to medications differently. Everyone's brain is a little different. You might have the complete opposite experience that I did, and that's okay too. The very first emotional change that I experienced was very early on, like the first or second day. And it was just like clarity, like a type of mental clarity that I didn't know that I could have. Like the glass in front of my thoughts that I looked at the world through had just been dirty all this time, and now something about it was wiped away, and I could just see clearly. And I don't really know how else to describe it, but it felt like the opposite of disassociation, just like being there and being present and just being. And it felt like there was some background noise that was screaming at me all of these years before that was just quiet. And look, right, I'm not saying that like this is the solution to all of your mental health problems or some shit. Like I still disassociate, I still get disassociative episodes, but there's something different about it. And I still feel that way even to this day. And once you understand that feeling, I think that when you see like trans people like in the news or whatever just being terrified of losing HRT and losing their medication, I think that's really the feeling that we're all fighting for. And it's so incredibly important and so worth it, because whether we like it or not, our brains are wired differently. And that's what I've come to believe, more through personal experience than anything else. And I know it's hard for other people to understand, but it's true. The second thing I noticed is, dear God, dear Jesus Christ, do my tits hurt. Like, I always knew that that was gonna be like part of the equation, but Jesus Christ. Like, I feel like the first couple months were the worst. Like, I feel like I was just expecting it to never end, but it did. Like, I was like a very skinny, like underweight person. I had like no fat on my chest. Like, I had no pecs, no nothing. Like, it was just like straight skin and like ribs. There was nothing else. And so when I started HRT, there's like, this is all gonna be TMI, but there's like this little, like, I mean, if I'm gonna be like medically accurate, like a breast bud, there's like a little hard disc that forms like underneath your nipple that like slowly becomes like where your boob is gonna be. And that's what hurts the most. Like, once all of that like initial growth is done, everything after that is pretty okay. I haven't, that's mainly been something I've experienced like just starting out. It's not something that bothers me now. But those first couple months, dude, holy shit. I have to like get boxes at my job. I have to get boxes like off of the very top of the fridge sometimes, like close to the ceiling, and I'm always like trying to pull them down and like pull them like on top of myself and catch them because they're gonna fall on top of me if I'm not careful. And one of those fuckers hit my tit, and Jesus Christ, I could have screamed. I couldn't even tell anyone about it because, like, nobody knew I was on fucking hormones, but, like, I just had to keep that to myself and just go about my day. It was not okay. The other thing that I noticed in those first couple months is my skin got way, way softer and a lot more sensitive, which I loved. I absolutely loved. Um, it's kind of a double-edged sword though, because I already had really sensitive skin, and so now when I shave, I have to be way more careful because it gets way more irritated way more easily, and I have to moisturize a lot more than I did. Um, which isn't a huge deal because I don't grow facial hair like nearly as fast anymore. Like, I think my new hormones have just completely nuked my ability to grow facial hair, which is something I'm very grateful for. Not something I was expecting because everyone tells you that, like, once you have, beard hair, it's just there for the long haul. But I don't think that's strictly true. It's something I noticed even um, long before I started HRT. I started something called finasteride, which is a DHT blocker. It doesn't block testosterone, but it blocks what is a stronger form of testosterone. So you could kind of see it as a partial T blocker, but it's taken mainly by cis men to prevent hair loss because the the type of testosterone that it blocks is the type of hormone that's responsible for pattern baldness. But anyway, after I took that, I noticed after like a month or two, my beard hair started getting way softer and it grew a little bit slower. Even without like any other like actual hormones, just blocking like that little bit of extra testosterone was enough to alter like how my hair felt, which is really interesting. And now I'm taking even more finasteride and like actually taking estrogen. It's been like a million times better. Like, I genuinely do not have to shave that often at all, and it's been such a huge improvement in my quality of life. But yeah, my skin is so much less oily, which is a fucking godsend because before it was fucking horrible. I hated that so much. I would spend so much time like trying to get like the right mixture of skincare to like not have it be oily all the time, but it always was a little bit, and just having that just not be a thing anymore is so great, so fucking great. My like the rest of my body is softer too. I don't really notice it too much because my body was already pretty feminine. The main thing that I notice is my chest because it's it's less rough, if that makes any sense. Like, if you've ever if you've ever touched a girl's boob, like, it's that texture, like, it's extremely soft. It's not like the rougher skin you would have like on your arms. Like, it's much softer in those places, which it's nice. I like it. Now, the I don't know if you'd call it a downside, but I've also noticed like some little like I don't know if they're like varicose veins, but like little purple spots on my skin. Like, it's that's one thing about like being female, I suppose, is like you can get like I don't know what the term is, like spider veins or whatever, because it has to do with like your skin and like something, I don't know. But it's fine. I kind of like them actually. My partner likes them, and that's kind of like made me think about them more positively. Because before I was like, these things are fucking weird. But I think like that's something with all body positivity is like you have to look at yourself through the eyes of someone who loves you. And that's true even if you're single. Like, you have to learn to love yourself. Like, there's beauty in everything. And, like, even if you can't find the beauty in something, like, it's okay. You know, you're not disfigured, you're not weird, you're just a person with a human body that's not, you know, fucking photoshopped to hell. Like, it's just a real thing that's gonna do weird stuff sometimes, and that's okay. And I think I've learned that a lot more since, like, starting to take care of myself and not just disassociating from my physical form 24/7. And I do recommend it. Another thing too is my hair is way, to go back to the finasteride thing, my hair is way, like, stronger now. Like, it's so nice. It's so nice, because before, I'm not gonna say like I had bad hair at all by any means, and this is probably not something anyone except me would ever notice, but I had my hair fall out a lot, especially when I was stressed, especially when I would go through like depressive episodes. That was something I dealt with a lot, which did not help my, anxiety or depression. It's just like my hair just come out in like clumps because I was suicidal and my body was like, hey, I know it will make this better. Just make you feel like you're fucking dying physically too. That will help your mental health. This is an actual thing, by the way. Depression can make your hair fall out. But stuff like that would happen. And I started to get really worried about it. Like, my hairline wasn't great. It wasn't awful, but like, it changed a little bit, and enough for me to freak out about it. And since starting hormones, like, it's just fucking there, and it doesn't fall out that much, and it's gotten thicker, and it's grown back like to a pretty decent extent, and I'm like not worried about it anymore. And it's just there. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. I'm not going to say that it's like a crazy amount thicker or anything. Like, again, I don't think this is something anyone except me is going to notice, but it's definitely there. I also want to talk about all of the things that I didn't experience. Because before I started hormones, I was like obsessively looking up every list of side effects, like every fucking chart that there was, like all of the horrible fucking consequences that you're gonna have to deal with. And like a term that comes up a lot is like second puberty. Like, you're gonna be fucking angsty and horny and shit. And I was like, that sounds like fucking hell. I'm 22, I can't be dealing with this shit. But honestly, the only emotional change that I've noticed is like that clarity that I mentioned earlier. Like, I feel more stable. I feel like more, I don't know if, I don't think it's more mature. I think it's just a little bit less angsty. I haven't experienced mood swings. I haven't experienced like anything. I haven't experienced getting more emotional, or like all of the fucking shit people say about like women. Like, my one takeaway from this is that like gender's fucking bullshit, and the things people say about it are bullshit. Like, I don't even feel like men have like a less emotional range. Like, I don't feel that way at all. I feel like my shift in mentality is because my brain really didn't like testosterone. And I don't know, man. I just feel like a person. And that's pretty nice for someone as mentally ill as me. It's pretty fucking nice. Another thing I haven't experienced are hot flashes. I was especially worried about that because I started on a very low dose of HRT, and I'm still on a low dose, but I haven't experienced that at all. Like, I feel like I'm maybe a little bit colder. I feel like maybe that happens because that's one thing I read about, is like women are very slightly colder sometimes. But aside from that, I don't know, man. I just haven't had them, which is really fucking nice. I had an antidepressant medication before that I was on a really high dose of that gave me the worst fucking hot flashes, and it was nightmares, so I'm very, very grateful for that. And I feel like that's important to say too, because, like, yeah, you might experience this awful thing that sucks, but you also might not. Like, nothing is really a certainty, and the only way you can know is to try it. So, but yeah, that's about all I gotta say for right now. If anyone made it this far, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I probably plan to have videos about once a week. We'll see if I can make myself stick to that. But take care. Have a great day. You deserve it.